audio, but this is just a short video. It really pertains to what I did to get my G29 to be in sync with the display on the screen. Now, I just need to reset this. One of the things that also happened after the last update is 1.5.7, something like that, 0.4, something like that. But is that every time you go into this pause screen, the steering it rotates and it's no longer calibrated with your car. So that as of now, I haven't done it yet, but I think as I'm looking to get more into online racing, I've done quite a few. I'm looking to get more into it. I'm going to have to somehow adjust where I have the PS4 itself located. Maybe I have a few adjustments to make to this new rig that I built. Thankfully I did it with wood, so I would have to probably build a stand within reach, because as it is, it's about 3 feet about 3 feet away from and to the front of the rig, so that you have to sort of, the rig is already a bit race car style with low profile, so it's kind of difficult to be in and out every time you have to pause the game for some reason or the other. So I have to make some modifications for that, as well as I need to invert the pedals still in order to complete the build. So back to this. It's already 2 minutes 8 seconds. So let me just show you this quickly. Going to drive, and you see what's going on there. Alright, so that was one of the things that I was speaking about. So I may have to exit this. And come back in again. I don't know why. Okay, so you would lose the audio for a while. I think what has happened here is that the right, so I've lost steering control. I've lost steering control there with the wheels, so I'll have to switch off the PS4 controller. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in phases, so you'll be able to track it. What I'm going to do, I did this before going on stream, so I went into, why you pause this now? Alright, so I went into this. I'm using the controller, so I'll show you what I did. Alright, so wow. Alright, so it's on. Set it back to wheel, and it's not going there. Alright, so let me talk you through it. When I come back on stream, you wouldn't hear the audio, but you will see steer lock. You see it's at 0, so you would see that I had it set to 900 degrees. Alright, I just set it just to test it as against 540. Right, you'll also see my steer scale I reduced 85%. The reason for that with the G29 on the PS4 is that using the on-screen display that you saw here, alright, I was able to recognize, and that's based on after looking at a video from Nils Niles. I think I pronounced his name correctly. Niles. His video is showing you things you should focus on in setting up your controls. Alright, whoa, for the, okay, so for the whoa, okay, so it's on the wireless controller, so you have even different thing. You have steer assist enabled, steer gamma, steer speed and steer filter. So for the steering, whoa. So for the steering wheel, you would see something different when it comes back up. Right, you'll see steer scale instead of steer speed. You would see steer linearity, and you would see steer lock, and you would see brake gamma. Alright, so let me switch there immediately now, back out to put it on drive just in case. So I'm gonna turn off the device.
Attention, stay away from curbs.
So so there you had that. Now back on audio. I wish they had something on the wheel for us to be able to do audio by connecting to the wheel and not only the controller, but it's the way it is. So what I did there is show you how I set up the what's happening here now. Alright, I sort of lost control of the. Alright, so I'll show you how I set up the controller, how I set up the wheel to work with the G29, and this is the settings I use to make it somewhat playable. Road effects, something to note, and this I also got from Niles. Road effects, that is this here. Alright, you can leave it on 0 because 0 is equivalent to 100%. 100% is equivalent to 200%. Now I've had to reduce this. Initially I had it at 20%, but to be quite frank and honest, I had it on 30%, and then a conversation with Nils, I reduced it all the way to 0 because with the G29 wheel you get a lot of clacking inside. Now I've been able to dampen that a bit by doing two things: reduce gain, which really gain allows the wheel, if I could put it right, your wheel feels heavier the more you increase gain. Alright, and road effects, you feel a lot more force feedback. You can also adjust your force feedback clipping, which is a rate that you will see at the bottom right hand corner of the screen is a white bar below. Now there are 3 bars here: green bar, which is for acceleration; red bar, which is for braking. My braking, no matter what I've done to the wheel, only measures up to 70% in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and it also only measures up to 75% on Dirt Rally 2.0. I can't say what it measures on Gran Turismo, and I haven't checked it on Project Cars 2 because I haven't played Project Cars too much. But I strongly suspect, because of the rubber piece that they put in the brake pedal, that makes it different to the G27, that keeps your brake from reaching full 100%. It's not bad. I've heard persons complain about it, but it is not bad, and I'll tell you why. The G series wheels on a whole, and in particular we're dealing with the G29, has an issue when you are trying to trail brake consistently lap after lap. And what happens here is that rubber piece will prevent you from, this is an experience I have, so I can talk from the experience. Couple seasons are back on Gran Turismo FIA Championship, I took out the rubber piece for an entire season, and I lost my S rating. I got my S ratings since I was a BS driver from points earned in the manufacturers. I didn't used to really focus too much on the nations events, but I lost out, I could say badly, because I came 8th that season, and mainly because I suffered poor tire wear, really poor tire wear when I took out the so I placed it back in for the following season. We had a couple seasons after, which was some exhibition seasons and pre-seasons and so on, and I was able to trail brake somewhat better. You can't get full consistent trail braking with the G series wheels. I've been able to regain my ranks, S rank, being among the top 100 in nations now, and also top 5 manufacturer as well as again top 100 in manufacture, regional, and all because of braking. It's not because of going fast. Now, truth be told, there are several events in nations, and I haven't used my OP manufacturers in a while. I'm very fast in Atenza, or the Rotary now. I'm very fast in Viper, very fast in Citron. Which other car? There are some other cars, and I have been able to outgun guys. I remember there was a nations race at Sardinia circuit where the entire lobby was Nissan GTRs, because that was the Omega car. That was the car that filled out the top times on the time. I beat them in pole by 2 seconds, and that was using the Peugeot Group 3, not the VGT, the POG as they call it. I used that, beat them in pole, beat them by a huge gap in the final. And I also used Citron again at Suzuka when Nissan GTR was the top car, and I again beat them in pole by more than 2 seconds, and won the final race by what, somewhere between, I think it was a 6 or 7 second gap. Alright, so, and it was really all to do with the brake. Now that rubber piece has a lot of enemies because it can't really be compressed much. You'd have to really press hard to get past it. But even trying to get past it, you would notice that on Gran Turismo, for instance, on the on-screen brake display, you would notice that you see the white bar, and then you see there's a red filling the gap. But you're not reaching full 100. You can tell that, right? And that is good. What you have to learn to do is practice your braking distance. You may have to compromise braking late by braking appropriately. Alright, so that you may have to, you're not losing speed, because there are different ways you can do an entry to at any turn on any circuit. Alright, so you can brake late, and allows you to carry a lot more speed deep into the corner. Right, you can also brake early, as I am forced to do. I have no choice because I can't get full 100 braking here, so I had to brake a bit earlier, release the pedal and get the car around at the fastest speed possible. Right, I also use the throttle. I'm a real life rally driver, so I am a bit experienced in using the throttle in tight or technical areas of a circuit. Alright, so I use the throttle to get the car where I want it. And if you're having any difficulty, again, a rally technique that works for me, it may not work for you, because it comes down to what you're accustomed to. Alright, I have seen guys, I've seen Tijni when Tijni used the G29. I saw him trail braking. The only time trail braking starts to becomes really inconsistent or sketchy is when you are 1 in slipstream and 2 when tires begin to wear. Right, so that I think that experience is one of the things that prompted Tishni to upgrade a long time ago when I saw he did the upgrade to Trustmaster. Was it? Yeah, Trustmaster he upgraded to. So Trustmaster, was it? I think it was. That was a while ago. That was like probably 2018. Maybe, yeah, maybe 2018, 2017, 2018 season. And but he, as I recall, very early in Gran Turismo during 2017, I recall Tijni because I was one of his followers. I remember seeing he posted a video where he took out the rubber piece. Right, he described it as being unable to compress it, and he took it out. I also did that with the G29. Alright, and I found it to be a little bit, because you know the G29 pedal is a bit weak, and that weak feeling is something that cause issues, and you would be able to brake later, but it caused a lot of issues, and those issues can be seen if you pay attention to tire wear and the rate of tire wear. So that when I save races, I would go back and compare my tire wear with other persons who I know may have different wheels or use same G29 with a load cell, and you see there's a huge difference, right? I have posted some videos recently of my races. I was able to show you my tire wear comparison with others. Some of those persons I know who are using load cells and other modifications, but I have the bump stop in there, and that's it. You're around 70 to 75% braking maximum on most of the console games, PS4 that is, and that helps me save tires, especially now that the FIAs have taken a different dimension with the races. It's longer, so you have to spend a lot of time on the chosen compound, and I was able to do a one-stop at Spa recently, where there was the one make with the Viper. I was able to do a one-stop when most persons went with the two-stop. I did a one-stop. I started on the what was it, the mediums, and went to the hards, and as you can see, I started in a quality field. I know all of those guys. If you look at the rankings presently, the regional rankings, and you will see that these guys who was in that race with me, they are ahead of me in the rankings. They are faster than me, but I qualified 11th and I finished 6th. And it was not only based on the one-stop strategy, it was based on me being able to save tires with the brake. You just have to practice and learn to use the brakes efficiently. It can be done. I do it. Sometimes if there are guys behind me who I know they are fast side, I know that they brake late, so I simply let them pass so that they won't crash into me, as what happened at Fuji recently. A guy crashed into me because I braked long before his marker apparently, and that was it for my race. So I had to do 3 slots just to get a good result. I came second. I should have placed first in that final race I did, but I got distracted by the leader who was miles ahead, and suddenly he on goes on the run up to the final lap. He on goes just ahead of I, and the guy was just behind me, and I was like thrown off with that, got caught out, and I sort of lost focus for the remainder of the lap. Alright, but in the chat, he shared his joke that the guy who came first and I changed places so many times, it was hard to keep up. Alright, my year of advantage on that guy, while we were racing together, because there were periods when I was like way ahead of him. He was in the Porsche. I think the Porsche has better tire saving ability, but at times when he was able to close in, you would see a difference in how easy I was able to accelerate away from him or get past him when I did. Because of my braking technique, I would brake early, yes, but also be able to launch a lot earlier on the accelerator. In fact, braking early allows you to launch right into the turn. Right, you just have to moderate your accelerator. I can do that. Being a rally driver in real life, I can do that. So he was able to launch much earlier into the turns, so I caught him a lot easier than he anticipated at times. He managed to get away just on the run up to the final lap, and as I was thrown off a bit, everything got thrown off, including my braking point, because I lost momentum on that straight, and it was just a matter of survival after that. So yeah, I came second there in that race, and I got some good points. So looking to continue the momentum, but back to Assetto Corsa Competizione. this is the settings that work for me, and this settings is quite different from settings I think I posted earlier on, and that was prior to the last update, which is the 1.5.7 4.4, and the update before that, which was the 1.3. so this is the 1.5.4 version, and before that we had the 1.3.7 version. And on each occasion that the game updated, you have to readjust things to your comfort level. A lot of drivers have been complaining that this video has gone on quite long, so if you didn't fall into the stream, you probably would catch this recording again when it's finally fully uploaded to YouTube, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days from now, so that I would take off the wireless to see if I could speed up. But what you would notice after each update is that you may have to readjust here. One thing that I have noticed, you'll see my career is on 36%. I've completed career mode on a number of occasions. However, if ever while it's in the midst of your career mode there is an update, you lose all your save games. The championship, I'm also on championship presently, so that on the career I'm using Bentley again. On championship I'm back with Lexus. So that as I stand right now, for console users, a lot of the trophies and so on are unattainable, because I don't think the game recognizes what you are doing for some of the trophies, such as smooth flow, which requires you to follow an opponent for 5 seconds. And I have gauged slipstream on console to be around let's say 0.5 or 0.5, so that anything within that, the same distance that applies to consistency rating, so that you must score 0.5 of within 0.5 of your best time and stay there in order for your consistency to go up. The same is also applicable to slipstream, and I've noted that because when you're within that range and applying brakes, you feel the difference, right? Outside of that range, I think someone suggested 0.7. I doubt that, because outside of that 0.5 range, your braking isn't affected. And I've followed cars for 5 seconds, for 20 seconds, and just in case they made an error, I followed cars for both online as well as in career mode or single player mode for 5 laps. Right now, I race the AI prior to this last update 1.5.4. I raced the AI full 100. Alright, I was able to beat them. You would be able to out-qualify the AI in that old version update by about 1 second maximum. Right? The weakness for AI is this: cold tires and wet circuits. Alright? They are very, very weak in that area, and that's why I take the lead. When this last update came out, I had to adjust my AI competition to around 90. Depends on which car I'm using. So there are some cars that I have a hard time setting up. So like the Porsche, for instance, is a nightmare for me. It is a fast car, but it's a nightmare for me to set up, so that I have to raise the AI on 90, and for other cars you will go to 95, and I always match, except when I'm in career mode, because career mode doesn't allow you to set the figures. What you select after your Lambo test, you can select, I think, medium, is it medium, pro, and elite, something like that. But those are the categories you select in career mode with the AI. Alright, and the pro or the elites, whichever ones are the top category for career mode, they are just what the name suggests, and they can be very aggressive on certain circuits. Silverstone can be a nightmare when trying to overtake these guys. Right, you overtake the AI in the run up to any sausage curves, and they are going to try to defend by using these sausage curves, and that sausage curve would launch their car directly into you. Alright, and you know you would lose the safety. I'm not aware that AI has any safety. It's not shown on screen, and you're not shown how much they lose, if they lose anything at all. You would also get damage. AI, even if they sustain damage, AI is able to continue for the rest of the race. Alright, so I lost a couple races. I think Silverstone was one circuit. When I did the Intercontinental GT, there was Laguna Seca, and there's another circuit where the curbs had these high sausage things. Silverstone, and there's another circuit. But those circuits are nightmares, but it's not impossible to beat the AI. You can trick the AI. One thing I like about the AI in Assetto Corsa Competizione is that they a lot of times respond to flashing of the lights. Don't overdo it. They will respond aggressively, meaning that they would brake check you. I've been brake checked a number of times at Spa. Alright, and I mean really brake check. It's not like, you know, braking early or something, because they are braking in the middle of a long straight and all this sort of things, because you're trying to indicate to them that Paul Ricard is the circuit where the AI does some strange things in trying to defend. Right, it was also the first circuit where I raced against the AI in the championship section of the game, where I was brake checked by a number of the top 5. I even got serious damage on one occasion. Had to pit and race my butt off to get back up to second. I never did get past the guy who started on pole, and that was a Porsche. That Porsche seemed as though it was using a custom tune from Jadier or Dave's Academy, Coach Dave's Academy or something, because that guy finished like 12 seconds ahead of me, and I was like 1 point something seconds ahead of the rest. So, and the Porsche was consistent with that pace. Alright, so that's it. I said it was going to be a short video. I ended up dragging it on a lot longer.